Now then, hello, how are we all? So this is a bit of a, well, I'll go into that in a minute actually, but first of all, welcome to Real Magic Review. Before I just start having a random chat about stuff. Welcome to Real Magic Review, and this is a live review and a test. And before we do that, can you please like and subscribe? Because most people will be watching this afterwards, because I've done this very, very last minute. So if you are now, amazing, thanks, at least there's someone. Brilliant, thanks a lot. Because I only decided like half an hour ago I was going to do it. So do like and subscribe. Do check out cardmagiccourse.com. That's my online card magic course. It's very, very good. But I would say that I'm very biased and I made it. So have a look at it and see the testimonials and stuff. And you get a lot for your money, including live coaching every week. So there you go. That's that. Now what this is a review, but I've got a load of new stuff. We were having a problem with glitching a lot the other day, so I'm going through loads of stuff. I've got new stuff, not because I've got new stuff anyway, but so please tell me if this is all over the place. If I do glitch, don't wind me up and pretend it is, because I'll think it is and I'll go, oh God, I've got to stop it. Because that happened the other day and everybody's wrong. Not on here, it was glitching the other day. So apologies if you saw the last live show and it was really annoying. It was all over. It was like that, which wasn't glitching. That was me, quite obviously. So we're going to do a review of Random Happenings, which is a really interesting one. So I'm really glad to be reviewing it. And it was a surprise. I didn't know it was coming. All sounds and looks good. Thank you very much indeed. This is good news. And whatever issues always get sorted, don't they? That's the thing. You know, I get really obsessed and I go, oh no, and it's kind of, and I realise it'll all get sorted in the end. Doesn't really matter. Hey Manish, hey Magic Man, hey not Harvey Weinstein, hey Alan, Shelburne, and good to be, and the Floppy Turtle, which messaged ages ago, he might not be here anymore, or she. So let's get on with the review, and you can ask any questions afterwards. This is a book test, and which at the moment I love a book test, right? But I do sometimes when another one comes out, I kind of go, oh really? Cause what can you do? What more can you do? Here's a book, got some words, and of course there is more you can do. And what I thought I'd try, and it is a big try, is to see if you can hear it. If I've got a new computer basically, and I've had to set up everything again. So let me know if you can hear this. I'm gonna put a bit of it on the trailer and see if you can hear it and it works all right, and then I'll start it again.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan Schlutz, and this is...
Right, does that work? Let me know if that, just everybody say if you can hear that, and then we'll go into that, because I've really kind of rushed it together now, because I forgot I didn't have all that stuff set up. So we'll do that. But basically, it's a book test with a different... Sounds fine in the trailer. Brilliant, let's get on with it. Right, so here's the trailer. Hopefully you can hear me as well. I think you can.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan Schlutz, and this is Random Happenings. Random Happenings is a book test unlike any others you've seen before. In this book test, the cover is ripped off, and the pages are then separated by...
Ah, man, sorry, hang on. Let's go there.
Separated by yourself and the spectator. The spectator then mixes the pages up any way they like and ultimately chooses one page to keep for themselves. But it doesn't stop there. The page is then ripped up into pieces. The spectator then chooses one piece for themselves. They can look at either side of that piece, but ultimately they choose one word. Despite the fairness, you know exactly the word they're thinking of. I love Random Happenings. It gives so much texture to my show. It's fun to perform, but also it's very unexpected for your audience.
Right, I'll pause it there. Do you want to see the full performance? Or do you want to watch it on YouTube? Or shall I, because it's going to be quite a long review if we put the full performance. I'll talk you through it, shall I? But basically, the main thing about this, which is really important, which is why I kind of show these trailers, is that everything's as he says it is. And we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. With the last big abstract effects release, there was the big controversy, depending on what you want. There was. We'll put the full performance on in the end. Let's see where it is. 1 minute and 6. I'll talk about it and then I can put it on in the end. Or you Google it, can't you? Alan wants to watch it now. Right, I'll just put the whole thing on. Go on.
Hey, Terry.
Oh, sure.
How you doing?
Great.
Have you ever read this book?
No.
It's called Random Happenings. It's actually one of the bestsellers. I think last month or something like that. I picked it up. It's a really fascinating story about a little girl named Laurel Buxton. Have you ever heard this name? Mm-hmm. I actually remember like an article a long time ago, but basically, long story short, she's a little girl, she lives in England, right? She took a balloon, like a red balloon, and she put a note on it, and it said like, hello, my name is Lauren Buxton, I live here, blah, 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 right? And then she let the balloon go, just like you probably did as a kid, right? You just want to see it fly away. Mm-hmm. But she did that, but something incredible happened. You know what happened? It actually flew over like 150 miles away, and it finally deflated and landed into a yard of another little girl named Laura Buxton. She actually opened it up and goes, she was so confused, but wait, the same name? This is so odd. But not that, she was the exact same age. So she wrote back and they had all these similarities. They both had a pet hamster named like Thomas and all this stuff. Like really weird stuff. Like it's like almost like out of a movie, right? But anyways, all that doesn't matter. That's probably like 10 pages in there, so I just saved you some time for reading that story. But I definitely recommend it for the other stories. But today we're gonna try something a little different. We're going to put the title Random Happenings and come inspiration from that story. We're going to try to push our luck, if you will, okay? Here, help me out here. So we'll actually take the cover off, right, to keep this like more random. And we'll rip the pages. You can actually help me. Take some pages like this and help me rip the pages apart like this. So that way we can get a good separation, okay? This is nice.
It's good, isn't it?
Doesn't this feel good?
There's loads of room for business in this.
People do bubble wrap.
This is what I like about this. You can spend ages on stage, and this is a lovely image in it to have on stage.
Soothing. So I think
or on parlor. Close up,
I
think it's going to be a
now, I need you
bit
to
of a
choose a
hassly
page
trick
at
to
random,
really
right?
close up.
So nothing's better than just sticking your hand in there, if you will. So I'll just do this. Just stick your hand in somewhere at random, and then wherever you want. Now, do you want to move it lower or higher? You can. It's your choice.
Higher.
So go a little higher. Then so go ahead and stick it somewhere a little higher.
And basically, they can take take any page. They can have them on their own.
Do you want the page on your hand?
Be looking through them and grab one and put the rest down if you like.
So here, I want you to look at this page right here. The page above. Is there words on this page?
Yes.
So rip that page off for me. Go ahead and rip it off. Now this, obviously I don't want to see this, but you always have a lot of words on there.
Good question,
But I want you to take it a little further. Instead of just reading it, I want you to rip it in half. So turn it long ways like this. Rip it straight in half. Okay, and then put it together like a unit, and then rip it again. Okay, and then put it together like a unit, and maybe rip it like the fat ways, yeah. And then take those pages and then mix those pieces up for me. Yep, and then turn them. That's fine. We don't need them all. That's fine.
Yeah, Jack said the idea of ripping up a book makes me uncomfortable. I know.
You want
that's kind of why it's good. I think.
Piece with a lot of words on it. Okay. Okay, great. I'll just take this for you. Now hide it so I can't see it yet. Okay. So right now, in a second here, I want you to open your hands, and you're gonna find like an interesting word, like a long word, if you will. So go ahead and look at it for me. Try to find a nice, long, interesting word. You got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Close it up, or crumple it up, if you will. Toss it on the ground. That's pretty random, right? So I feel like we're in the spirit of the book, right? Now you probably wonder, I had this sticking out of my pocket the whole time, right? Right now you're also thinking a word, right?
Obviously you can do it, this is a prediction, but you don't have to do a prediction. You can do it as a normal book test and just say the word if you want, or write it on a pad, which are quite like.
And you could have chosen any word, but brainstorm is the one you wanted?
Yep.
Check it out. Actually, right there on the paper is brainstorm.
Look at that. So, that was quite good watching the trailer with you. It felt nice, that. So that's it, and it's really is it. There's nothing different about it, and it kind of feels like, I'm only making assumptions, but it feels like a kind of return to form. But I haven't seen the last couple of abstract effects, and I do like their stuff. They make some interesting stuff, and a lot of the tricks that they've brought out that I reviewed, I've liked, but I haven't really seen them as, I've got to put that in my show. Not many of them. They've been really interesting, quite quirky, quite different, the card things, and great. But this, I think, is the first thing I've seen in a while from them that's really meaty. It's a meaty routine, and that kind of is exactly how it plays. I'll go with what you get first. And we will go to the questions. And I'm not exposing the trick here. I think I can show you what you get in the box because it doesn't expose anything. Because you watch that trailer, you need to kind of see what you get, right? So you get the box, and really interestingly, they've gone from having a box that was massive and really pretty with Summit. Once you got it, it was all sort of flying around in there because the box was way too big. And this box is just right for what you get in there, but it has got a really annoying thing, which isn't a game changer for me. But you have to kind of cut into it or rip it open. It's like a cereal box, right? So you get that, and there's no kind of there's no sort of slide or anything like that. So you have to kind of open it like that, which is absolutely fine. But weirdly enough, it's probably one of the only tricks I've got in a while that you do feel like you do really need something to carry it around in. And ironically, once you've ripped that, you can't. So out of all of the things, you go, oh, right, now I have to find something to carry the book around in, which is not a problem, really, is it? It's only a bag or something, but it's just an interesting case. And the other thing, you'll see here, I cut into it. I cut into the thing because I was getting wound up trying to rip it off. And it's only cardboard, it's easy, but I started cutting the little bit of the book. Sorry, I'm not even showing it on the screen. I started cutting a little bit of the book. I needed to cut the actual thing itself, which wouldn't have been good at all. So this is what you get. And it'll answer your question about, a glue stick. And that's, oh, no, blimey. Don't I'm always exposing the instructions. I'm going to have to blur that out now. God, what an idiot. You get two versions of this book. You can do a kind of like personal development business book version and the random happenings one that he uses. And the story's really nice. And like you said there, apparently John Archer does something with a presentation around the same story, which I didn't know anything about. And exactly as you saw the routine. You've got to do. No, you haven't really got to do arts and crafts because it feels like a sort of sans mind sit there for 30 minutes. You've got to sort of every time you do it, you've got to use a bit of glue. That's what I'll say, and you can kind of see why. It's not really an issue. It doesn't take long. It's very, very simple, and not a problem. So you get all these bits, but really interestingly, like I said, when I get stuff, I purposely don't watch it. And when I saw it was another book test, I thought, you know what, I don't really need to look at another one. I love Ryan Schlutz. I really like what he does. I love false anchors, but I thought I'll get to that at some point. So by the time it came, I hadn't seen it. So I thought, right, great, I'll open it up and have a look. And I genuinely thought it had all fallen apart in the post because it's all these loose. I was like, how's that going to work? And then I thought, no, they must have got that right, especially after last time. So you get that, and when you get it, you're going to think, oh, that doesn't look very stable, and it isn't. It's all over the place. But when you put it together, the point is that it isn't meant to be. And when you handle it, it's the sort of thing you can't give out and go, have a look at that, have a good look at it. You can't do that. You have to hold it, you have to handle it. It looks totally fine. You can give it to them with audience management. Hold that a minute, give it back, great, and then you start ripping it up. And the ripping it up is a really interesting thing. Like you just said there, Jack, the idea of ripping a book makes you uncomfortable, and I think that's probably the strength of the routine, and I don't actually think he makes enough of it in that trailer. I think that moment, there's a lot to talk about there because a lot of people feel the same way. So you can do loads of stuff about the book being really bad. You bought it in an airport, it's the worst book I've ever read. Not if you do the random happenings, it looks a bit too nice, but if you do that, it looks like a really cheesy book. So you can talk about ripping it up and how those sort of books so often don't work. I think I do a lot of work with these kind of books, so it's great. So there's a lot to be said for it, I think, and it's unexpected. The minute you start ripping that book up, they're going to react, and it's going to be like you're ruining your book. And I think that's the kind of strength of it. So this kind of thing where you kind of go, okay, let's just rip, you rip this in half, and you rip that down the middle, and and they can rip it. And then he does this thing where you can kind of do this, which is, I can see why he's done it. I think you can get away with just sort of giving it to them, especially when they're on stage. They're not going to be scrutinising anything. And if they were to really scrutinise it, but even then, I think it's fine. I don't think you've got any problem. So it's really strong. It's super easy, this. It's pretty much self-working. And you get this in it as well, which is you don't have to learn, I'm not going to give anything away, but you don't have to learn anything. There's no memory work in this, really importantly, right? Zero memory work. So you've got that for the prediction, or you can just say it, or you can write it and use it as a normal book test. But the real strength of it lies in the fact that there's all this business of ripping up, tearing it up and all that. It's super, super easy. If you do have any issues with memory, and people have written to me and said, I've kind of dismissed this idea of, you've got to remember 10 things, that's not a problem. Well, for some people that is a problem for various reasons, and I hadn't really thought and empathized in that way. So if you want to do a book test and you do have any issues in memory, then this is probably the one for you. The audience management is important. Obviously you've got to get them to tear the thing up, but I do it with my daughter, and she's tearing it, and people just do. You go, right, and like you said, put it in a unit and tear it up, and they don't have to tear it perfectly. They can kind of, just tear it up quite slapdash, really, as long as they're kind of in the doing anything. And they can genuinely choose, once they've torn it up, they can genuinely choose any of those pages that they've torn up and the pieces of the pages. So there's a really nice process there. I think it's really, really magical. Like I said, I've done it, I haven't been out and performed it or anything because I can't, but it's gone strong with the people who usually go, I've seen so much. So there's a lot to it. On the downside, there's not much. I think it's really strong, this, and I really like it. The book cover is a bit flimsy, but that's fine. They're not really you're not doing much with it. I'd like it to be maybe a little bit more substantial, but that's all right. But no, it's a really good product. Let me just see. Have a look. No memory. Fisher. Yeah, and I just want to make sure I get everything in. I have no angles. I think interestingly, he has released this. This is that's what I want to mention. He released this. It was on his Penguin lecture, but obviously he needed the stuff, and he has released it independently. So it's kind of like this is from his what's it, false anchors, and the abstract effects. So a lot of you might think, well, I've heard of this before, and it's there was a lot of love for it back then. Actually, people doing it and buying it off him, and of course, it's a lot for one person to sort of keep making. So he's probably enjoying the fact that someone else has got on board to help him get it out there. So it's great. After the trick, can the book cover go back onto the book? Right, let's go with questions. I think that's everything. But needless to say, I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. And those issues I said aren't really issues. How going through the full stuff and Sheffield tonight on the course is pretty good. Great. So, yeah, happy they put the full performance on the trailer. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a Summit plug. I've got a copy of Summit to give away. I've got a new one. Because I got sent two by accident, so I'll give one away at some point. John Archer had a great routine with the Laura Buxton story. Brilliant. I didn't know about that, and I've seen a lot of his stuff. You need to buy refills, right? You get a lot of refills. You get kind of that, which is about 50 or 60, I think. And you can use the original what's in there already. So I think that's going to do you quite a lot. And you are going to be able to buy refills, and you probably can already. I know that when I watched it, they said that's all possible, so that's fine. But there's a lot in there. It's going to be a while before you have to buy one. Because like I said, it's not like a newspaper tear. When you do a newspaper tear, which I love, like every time you do it, you cane a broadsheet newspaper, so you go through a lot. With these, you have to practice the presentation of it, but you don't really have to practice ripping pieces of paper up. There's very much physical practice involved in this, other than just blocking. And yeah, the idea of ripping up a book. What do you recommend the best book test would be? I used to do Final Flashback with 3 books, which worked really well. And then I went on to doing a kind of mother of all book test thing, which went really well. And now I do wiki test, which you could argue is a book test, which by the way I did yesterday, and it just absolutely fried people. This one feels very different. Out of all the ones I've done, and I've done like things like Celebrity Presage and all the ones I've reviewed, out of all the ones I've done, I can't really see that the reaction's been any different with any of them, really. I think they just feel different. So it's got to feel right for you. That was that Economicon, wasn't it? It was like a cheaper version of Mother of All Book Test. And again, I saw that done on stage. I think Alan Hudson do that on stage really, really strongly and get really strong responses from it. So I think that it's more about our own preferences, really. And I really like this one. I'm quite like the idea of taking this one out and kind of just playing with it and being able to relax and not have to remember 26 words or whatever. So I definitely am going to try this. I think it looks really fun. I'll get the feeling this is like Headline Countdown, is it, Steve? I don't know. I think I know what the one you mean, the classic sort of, and it's probably similar, but I'm not great on sort of headline stuff and all that, but I presume so. The best book test for someone in budget, and the best book test which is expensive too. I think that Economicon, like I said, I've seen it done on stage by very good performers, and I think it's cheaper. I think definitely less expensive than that. But yeah, but I don't. I'm not. But I don't. Some people just have loads and loads of book tests, don't they? I love that, the idea of that celebrity passage. You know, the Brett Barry stuff, because they can, you know, they can see you opening one page at a time and getting to the number, so it's really fair. It feels super fair that that's their number. But I might be kind of, you know, what's that saying? Running when I'm not being chased or something. I don't know. This is cool. Yes, isn't it? Tell me, don't know how to read, and they'll understand why you ripped it up. After the trick, can the book cover go back onto the book? Good point. No. So after the trick, you're going to kind of have to. Yeah, I mean, you can put it all back together and go, but it's not repeatable stuff. You're going to have to take the thing, finish your shot, and that's why it's no good for close-up, really. Except you want to do it on your top table and make a bit of a parlour show out of it. But it's very much like, once you do it, you're going to put it back together, spend a few minutes, literally a few minutes, getting it all together again, and then you can go back out. But it's a bit messy for me to do that in close-up. It's definitely a stage thing for me. Or parlour, or friends, you know, when you're having a drink and that. Or not having a drink. What is that? My favourite book test is book. My favourite test is book. It's a Pegasus page book test. I don't know about that, Dean. So I do love them. That's the thing. I'm almost scared of getting into them, because I know that some people who do, they just buy them all, and it's bad enough that I buy enough books here that I've got to add book test to it. Are you surprised Penn and Teller were fooled by this? Well, yeah, I suppose I am, really. Were they fooled by the same? Was it exactly the same way? I don't know if they had a different method in there put in there. I don't know, but yeah, I am, really. But that doesn't take away from it at all. It's just yeah. But then there's been quite a lot, though. I've been surprised they've been fooled out, and then surprised they haven't been fooled out and stuff. So I think it's yeah. But it is definitely a strong piece of magic. But listen, I think that's waffling on enough, aren't I? So this all seems to have worked. We seem to be all right. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Random happenings. Do check out the links below. Thank you to Abstract Effects for sending this to me, and good luck to Ryan Schlutz with it. He doesn't need it, clearly. He's probably selling loads of them, because I think a lot of people like it, but I'm glad he's got some good distribution for it. And do check out Card Magic Course. Go and have a look at it now. After this, just go cardmagiccourse.com, have a look at it, have a little read of it, read the testimonials, and then you can make your decision. You can get a free spread cull download course, video course from me at cardmagiccourse.com/cull. Like and subscribe, share it if you want, do all that good stuff, and I shall be back tomorrow evening with another video about something. I don't know what yet. Take care. See you later.